Hey guys, I'm Christine, and I work a program because I was raised in a dysfunctional home and decided I would just continue in that behavior in my adulthood until I realized it was no longer working for me. So I'm Christine, I'm an adult child that comes from a dysfunctional home, and I am grateful to be here tonight. So about 7 years ago, I led a step study, and that for me is one of the greatest honors, is to come together with a group of women who have decided they want something different for themselves and they're willing to put in the hard work. And a step study is when you kind of, you meet weekly and you learn about the steps. And so it's a little bit different than what we actually do here, but it is a time where community is built. And when I look around the room, I see a ton of faces that were in that step study supporting Ta 7 years ago that are here tonight, and that just warms my heart. That's what it's all about. And so I get the privilege of introducing her to you tonight. And I remember 7 years ago when she sat in that step study, she was quiet. Sometimes she still is, but not always. But she was very quiet, and she chose her words ever so carefully. And when you hear her testimony, you'll hear a little bit about her perfectionism, which I'm sure that was some of it. But one of the other things that she shares is that she struggled with rage. And so I would bet my life on it that some of those things that she wanted to say, she was like, I got to keep it under control, right? Because sometimes for me, my rage can control all of my words. And so it has been such an honor to watch her walk through not having a voice to watching her minister to every person that walks through the doors of this recovery. She is a prime example of what it means to give back, and it has been such an honor. And I remember in our step study, we would go around the room and take turns each week praying, and I asked her to pray, and she said, oh, no, I can't do that. And I was like, okay, and we just kind of passed. And then one night, I was in a really, really bad spot, and Ta said, I'll pray for you. And I was like the heavens are moving tonight. And she said 3 simple words that just wrecked me and changed my life because I knew how hard it was for her. And she just said, Jesus, help Christine. And for me, I didn't need any fancy words, but I needed somebody to ask Jesus for what I couldn't ask him for in that moment. And so I'm so grateful that she found her voice and she chose to use it for me that night. So will you welcome Ta and her amazing journey?
Thank you. I'm a grateful follower of Jesus Christ, and I come to celebrate recovery for help because I grew up in a dysfunctional family where I learned how to isolate myself, control and manipulate others, and how to rage, and how to use alcohol to numb and escape my pain. Hi, my name is Ta. My testimony is about the power of choice, how that changed my life and relationships, and how New Hope gives me the strength I need to pursue healing. Continuing to change set me free from my destructive lifestyle. Most of my life I suffered from the pain of my past. I took it out on everyone around me, and I used alcohol to escape my pain. My hurt began at home when I was very young. My parents' dysfunction was a result of their own pain, and as I grew up, I watched their dysfunction take over. What I experienced was their coping choices. They were unable to offer the love or support I needed to feel safe. Eventually, their anger and resentment were turned on me in abusive and neglectful ways, and I felt physically and emotionally abandoned. Their unhealthy coping of control and manipulation became our family secrets. Their parenting style became shame and punishment. Instead of looking for help, they chose to isolate our family. I was dismissed as unimportant. I felt rejected, unwanted, and completely isolated from any possibility of help. Without secure attachment so young, my insecurity and low self-esteem grew into anxiety and depression. I coped with different abuses by disassociating. That means when I felt fear or danger, my brain automatically stopped processing incoming information, and I became used to this feeling of checking out at the slightest fear. I didn't know feelings like compassion or appropriate physical touch like a hug. I tried to be invisible and not show my emotion to prevent triggering their pain and inevitable overreaction. When I showed my emotions, they got upset, so I learned feelings were bad and built walls of self-protection. I was unable to process my feelings of abandonment and rejection, and those feelings got buried. Inside my walls, I allowed anger to dictate my life choices on a foundation of rejection and fear, leading to a life filled with trying to please other people, perfectionism, promiscuity, self-starvation, and avoiding my feelings. Over time, my anger blew up into rage. I had attached all my self-worth to my appearance. In love and relationship addiction and promiscuity, I believed my value was in how I looked. I pushed myself at the gym to look perfect and feel strong, and I developed an eating disorder of starving myself to feel control. I thought if I looked perfect, I could feel what my young adult brain believed was love. I was angry, and I hid my pain under physical strength. I thought somehow it was my fault, so to punish myself, I did not allow myself to eat. I learned to ignore my feelings as well as my hunger, and when I figured out I can control that, I wanted to control everything. I believed I was ultimately responsible for every situation and relationship. In this unhealthy behavior, I felt a false sense of security. I thought I was creating a safe place by controlling the people around me to prevent their pain from touching my life, and obviously I was helping everyone with my wise advice. So, however, this is a good example of what codependency looked like for me. Remembering my past trauma was too much, so I blocked out the images until only the hurtful words remained. I was helpless to stop repeating them in my head, and those words turned into the critical voice I speak to myself with. I call it my inner critic. That voice told me rage was a position of power over others, and in my dysfunction, I gave myself permission to rage, to feel powerful, and I used that to bury my overwhelming feelings of complete powerlessness. A little perfectionism might seem like a good thing, but it's another way codependency took over my life with control issues. It can feel like success, approval, and a sense of accomplishment. However, it can easily take over me and keep me in rigid thinking and obsessive compulsive behavior that turns into depression and anxiety when my expectations are not met. I can be paralyzed from making different choices when I'm caught up in achieving a specific result, and that negatively affects all areas of my life. In perfectionism, I'm stuck in a cycle of isolation, stress, and anxiety. If I didn't believe I could do something perfectly, I procrastinated to avoid it. If I failed at anything, I would be overwhelmed by my childhood hurt that I had not processed, and I'd fall deeper into depression and anger. The only way I knew how to cope, to avoid my feelings and escape, was to drink alcohol. I drank to drown out that inner voice and doubled down on fitness, self-starvation, and obsessive-compulsive behavior to feel control again. My rage increased along with these choices, and I unleashed vicious words that burned others to the ground. I had given myself permission to use rage to voice my anger, but what I didn't realize with that choice is I had given myself permission to hurt the people I loved. At the time, I didn't understand these were the exact choices that created the cycle I had seen modeled growing up. This is the definition of insanity, repeating the same behavior over and over and expecting a different result. I spent years pursuing help in New Age healing. In my dysfunctional isolation, I believed the empowering promise of self-healing was the solution. I believed if I learned the right technique, I would have the power to heal myself. I will always be grateful for the good people I met and the self-care I learned, but I stopped when I realized I had not succeeded at healing myself. My dysfunctional behavior had not changed, and I realized that my self-willpower would never be the origin of any lasting healing. I had been to see several talk therapists over the years as well. They were very successful in helping me see how I was dragging my past trauma into my present life, but it was the support system I created here in recovery that provided the framework I needed to apply change. My parents had used God to shame me as punishment when I was little, so I hadn't considered him as a solution, but I began to wonder if he was my only option left. My best thinking and self-sufficiency had gotten me into this, and I needed someone more powerful than I was to show me the way out of my dysfunction. I simply didn't know yet who he was and how he could help me. We started going to church, and I joined the ladies' Bible study. Those ladies showed me I could trust them, and I started to share my pain. They were the first to explain to me that I had a friend in Jesus and healing was waiting. I learned how to start asking for help by asking for prayer. This was a support system that I needed. One of those ladies started going to recovery. When I asked her why, she said they provided a different kind of help. I watched her life change at recovery, and I dared to believe there may be hope for me there. She was the proof I needed to start my recovery journey. I saw hope and I wanted it. They were willing to help me, so I kept coming back. Here in recovery, I now understand the difference between learning about Jesus at Bible study and growing a personal relationship with him. As I started taking care of myself, I began to approach my life differently. I choose to approach it as an opportunity to learn and recognize where I need to be grateful. Feeling hurt by people cannot be avoided. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. I finally realized this applied to me, and in that moment, I understood for the first time I was hurt, and I was still hurting other people. Feeling safe with my new family, I started to overcome insecurities and stop taking everything personally. Sometimes new thoughts changed my behavior, and sometimes repeating new behaviors changed my thoughts. After a while, I finally accepted the way I viewed my situation was not the only way it could be viewed. People who weren't part of recovery were telling me this change was too hard and it wasn't worth the effort I was putting in. Instead of giving in to my old life, I fought to keep my serenity, to keep learning, even when it was hard, even when I didn't understand how to apply change to my life yet. There came a day I had to choose to trust this process and choose to stop relying on myself. One of the most important things I learned is that behavioral self-awareness can change a life. I learned how to choose to take responsibility for my self-care and behavior, to be aware of my thoughts and actions as well as my inactions that kept me in victim mentality. I had to actively choose to learn how to live a better way, a choice no one else could make for me and one I had been unwilling to make so far. By coming to meetings, listening carefully, and working my steps, I began to identify my dysfunctional behavior. I realized the reason I had ongoing problems was my own dysfunctional behavior. For long-lasting healing, I needed to be open to grow and give myself permission to change. By giving myself these things, I gave myself the time I needed to learn and the willingness to change. I needed time to discover where my anger started and to have compassion for myself while I processed my feelings. In this safe place, I had room to heal. This is when I realized I was holding on to the last good thing I had, my marriage, and I wanted to be sure to keep that safe. I knew if my behavior didn't change, I might lose that too. This was a moment when I realized I had to do something different to change my life. After the raging stopped, my husband slowly began to believe that I was safe and then trust genuine character change in me. We were able to fully open our conversation and support each other in ways I never believed possible. In this safe environment, we have a place to share our individual hurts and listen with genuine curiosity to each other's perspective of a situation. Placing curiosity first requires anger to be a lower priority. Curiosity requires using words said with truth in love. By consciously choosing to do this, we are growing in gentleness and compassion for each other and trust that there is nothing to fear. This is what successful marriage looks like to me. Thanks to recovery, I am now strong enough to love myself, take care of myself, and be available for him. As I continue to choose to let go of my past, Jesus continues to heal me, and I no longer desire the false power I sought from rage. I wanted to stop raging, but I didn't know how yet. My first step was to learn it's okay to be patient with myself while I learn how to let it go. Understanding why I would get so upset helped me see it coming. Accountability partners, affectionately named accountability buddies, are people I feel safe with and who help my recovery journey. I share with them the behavior I want to change and what my behavior looks like leading up to what I'm changing so they can see it coming when I can't. I learned it is my choice to have power over anger, and anger no longer has power over me. I used to believe I could control people in and out of my life, and now I see people are more like trees. Some people are meant to be roots to last a lifetime. Some are strong branches that bring a time of strength. And some are leaves that will change with the seasons of life, and that is okay. Spending times in the rooms of recovery, I saw real-time examples of what it looked like when change happens to those who are willing to put in the work. Something that helped me start sorting out my feelings was learning to look at depression or worry as dwelling on the past, and to look at anxiety as fear of the future. Already knowing I have a fear of change, this statement helped me put a system in place to start organizing my feelings by categorizing them as past, present, or future, and that helped me keep in mind where I am physically in the moment. Something I learned that helps me remember to take care of myself is the acronym HALT, H-A-L-T. It's an abbreviation to help me keep in mind the self-care words hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. I never knew it was okay to take steps to take care of myself and my needs. My sponsor, the one person in recovery I trusted the most and helped me understand how to apply what I was learning, had to break it all the way down for me. She had to tell me it's okay to bring a snack to prevent food anxiety that was tied to my eating disorder. It's okay to feel fulfilled with friendships instead of looking to my husband for literally everything. And it's okay to go to sleep when I need to. Another good one for me is STOP, S-T-O-P. This one helps me remember to stop, take a breath, observe, and then proceed. I am providing myself a moment to consider my situation. Am I in actual danger, or is this situation bringing up an event or emotion from my past and dragging those feelings into my present? In that one moment, I can come back to reality, where most often I really am in a safe place. This one is so key for my marriage. It provides me a moment to choose to listen first instead of taking it personally and reacting. The best one I found, though, is the easiest, and that is to simply keep coming back. This gives me the opportunity to learn more of these reminders and practical ways to apply them. I learned when someone is acting out in their feelings, it is very likely not because of me. They may be living out their original hurt and coping exactly as I had done. By practicing choosing in advance not to be upset, I can accept responsibility that may be mine and not take the rest so personally. I'm a victim of my environment. Oh, I'm not a victim of my environment. I am, however, a product of my environment, my life circumstances. I adapted to a dysfunctional life, and now I choose to adapt to a new life of recovery. I learned to accept what happened to me, even though I am still learning what to do with my feelings. I have to remind myself I am safe, and those memories are from my past. The words I choose have the power of life and death. By consciously replacing negativity with gratitude, the inner critic voice has lost most of its power. The more I practice, the easier it is for me to replace my words. By doing this, I'm creating an environment that grows love, friendship, and safety around me, a family environment. In recovery, I began to realize where Jesus was with me all along. He saved my life and protected me through it all. The moment I truly believed this, the walls I built started coming down, and I finally started to let him carry my burdens. Keeping focus on God keeps me away from unnecessary negative thinking. The less I allow myself to be influenced by fear that is not real, the more I feel grateful for this opportunity to start over. Because of this program, I can say I love you and I'm sorry to others because I learned how to say I love you and I'm sorry to myself. I understand compassion and the healing power of appropriate physical touch like a hug. I believe anyone who genuinely wants to change their life has the ability and opportunity to with this program. Hope is real and peace is possible. I balanced my life by gaining perspective and experience and choosing a willingness to mature. In recovery, I saw and experienced what the behavior I needed to learn to mature and balance feelings that go along with life. What I focus on occasionally will get me occasional results. When I choose to be consistent, my life remains balanced consistently. Choosing to stop stirring up trouble with negative words became my first step in my journey of forgiveness and making amends. As I worked tirelessly to replace the inner critic voice with self-love, I started to forgive myself. Over time, this turned into forgiveness and grace to those who hurt me. With patience and willingness to forgive, I restored relationship and made amends with loved ones I thought were long lost. Recovery is a journey. Taking one step is progress. Taking another shows desire to change. And taking a third is what it looks like to start taking responsibility. Each step, however small it may seem, carries us forward through healing, and put together, they create what becomes a healing journey of recovery. I choose to live one day at a time, one moment at a time, one choice at a time, and I've made a commitment to my recovery. My plan B is return to plan A. Recovery is the family I always wanted, a safe place where life can start over. Recovery provided a plan for me to get well. This program helped me find my identity and hope in Jesus. I needed recovery to show me by example what a better way to live meant, what change looked like, and that I could trust this process. In recovery, I learned I had the power of choice all along, and here I learned how to carry it out. I needed recovery to grow a personal relationship with Jesus. Showing up tonight may be your first step. Give yourself credit for how far you've come already. Maybe someone is wondering if finding new life at recovery is possible, let alone sustainable. Will I ever have that breakthrough? Will I ever be able to open my heart after feeling so hurt? My encouragement is to keep moving life toward Jesus. Even if it doesn't feel like progress is being made, it is. Keep going. You're worth it. Hope is real, and healing is too. What does a hopeful life look like? Me. Thank you, Jesus. It looks like me. I am worth a lot. And so are you. Together at Recovery, we can support each other. Welcome to a safe place. We're here for you. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that was amazing. Ta, thank you so much. Guys, can we please honor her again? Oh my goodness. There were so many things that she said that I wanted just to keep typing on my cell phone, but I was like, no, I don't want her to think that I'm texting somebody. So I only wrote a couple, but learning new behaviors changed my thoughts. My thoughts drove me into my old behaviors, and my old behaviors drove me into worse behaviors and worse thoughts. And the way that she just broke that down was perfect, because we come here and we learn how to practice a new life. We learn how to live into a new reality. We accept Jesus Christ. We learn how to apply community through our 12 steps. And over time, our thoughts begin to change, and we find ourselves aligning and living into the reality that we always wanted to. And thank you so much for that. The more I practice, the easier it becomes. It's so simple and yet so profound. She said that right after she said, just keep coming back. For me, I started to come into the rooms, and I didn't know why I was going, My thoughts I still wanted to use, but my behaviors, I was still real reactive. But people said, just keep coming back. And all of a sudden, not picking up became easier. And all of a sudden, stopping and observing and then proceeding, like she said, became a lot easier. And now all of a sudden, I find myself living into the reality that I wanted. I had to keep coming back. And then my plan B is to return to my plan A. Thank you so much for saying that. Because I was totally the guy that was like, well, if this doesn't work out, then I can go, or if this one thing happens. But my plan B is now my plan A, and I'm so grateful that you gave such clear, beautiful words to it. Thank you so much. Guys, we're about to move into a time where we celebrate. We just celebrated Ta and how she has overcome so many struggles inside of her life. But now this is a time where we get to celebrate each other as we move forward together. And so would my chip huggers please come up? There they are. There we go. Can we please honor our chip huggers? Good stuff, guys. Thank you so much. And so we're going to start out with the blue chip. The blue chip is for the length of this meeting to 24 hours. So if you guys have heard some experience, strength, and hope that you are motivated to pursue, you want to end your misery and pick up a victory, come, pick up a blue chip. Yeah, here we go. You. All right, here we go. We got some more. Good stuff, guys. Here we go. This is the good stuff in life. And as you guys are picking up that chip, remember, just keep coming back. And the next is the 30-day chip. This is our hope chip. This chip reminds us that we have a new hope inside of Jesus Christ and that we are growing together in a community. So anybody who's celebrating 30 days, come and pick up a red chip. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Way to go. Very nice, man. Good stuff. Keep it going. Yeah. Nice. This is where we're going, guys. Good stuff. Next is our green chip, 60-day. This is our growth chip. We realize we are growing in our relationship in Christ. We are growing in our community. Anybody who's celebrating 60 days, come and pick up a green chip. And remember, this means that there is now grass growing in between our house and the liquor store, right? All right, what do we say? Keep coming back. That's right. All right, next is our white chip. This is our freedom chip. This is for 90 days. We have a newfound freedom as we are pursuing Christ, as we are pursuing our recovery. Anybody who's celebrating 90 days, come and pick up a white chip. We can see the whites in our eyes now. All right, what do we say? Keep coming back. That's right. Next is our yellow chip. We have a friend that would say it's not yellow because there's nothing yellow about getting recovery in your life. It's a gold chip, but it is technically our yellow chip. And so, this is our new life chip. We may have thought there is no way I would ever get here, and yet here we are celebrating 6 months. We have new life. Anybody picking up a 6-month chip? Yeah, here we go. You! Awesome. Let's go. Yes. So good. Yeah. Keep it going. Awesome. Way to go, guys. That was great. Next is our black chip. It is our strength chip. We have a newfound strength as we continue to work a program of recovery and enter deeper into relationship with Jesus Christ. Anybody celebrating 9 months tonight, come and pick up your black chip. All right, what do we say? Keep coming back. That's right. And next is the gold coin. We are celebrating years and multiple years thereof. This is September, and so I hope we got some people celebrating in September because we love to celebrate our victories. We love to celebrate our growth. And so please, anybody celebrating a year or multiple years in September, come and pick up your chip. Woo! Whoa! All right. Yeah, here we go. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Way to go, guys. Way to go. Man, that is good. Woo. Man, I feel like you guys worked that all out. We're going to stand on 3 because that was just like an explosion. That was so cool. All right, so this is the deal. We continue to celebrate together, and some of us have a little trepidation, maybe a little bit of anxiety to go and pick up something. Remember, there is no shame in coming back if you have relapsed. There is no shame in saying, there's this area of my life I want to pursue now. As you guys have seen people say, I am moving forward in my recovery. This is a time to mark it mark this down in your calendar and say, this is when my old life died and my new life began. Anybody want to come and pick up a blue chip? Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Way to go, guys. Way to go, way to go. This is what we do. We move forward together. That is right. Yeah, keep it going. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah. Awesome, 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 awesome. Woo! Man, so good. So good, so good, so good. Man, you guys, you know what I'm going to say. This is the good stuff in life. Man, this is the good stuff. So guys, thank you so much. Can we please honor our chip huggers right now? Passing out a whole bunch of hope. Used to be a room filled with drug dealers. Now we got hope dealers over here. That's right. That is right, guys. So, oh, man. Well, guys, this was an awesome, awesome night. I'm so grateful to be here with you. I don't think I introduced myself properly. I was so excited about Todd's testimony. My name is Curtis. I am an addict and an alcoholic. So good to be here with you. So now we are closing this time of our large group. We are going to be moving into a time where our small groups are going to meet. So much of what you hear represented on the stage and through our testimonies, all of that strength, so much of that strength happens inside of these small groups. And so if you find yourself saying, you know, I want what these people have, then I really recommend go into these small groups. On my left, your right, we have men's chemical dependency and men's open share. And then on my right, your left, we have women's open share and women's chemical dependency. Lots of experience, lots of strength, lots of hope found in those rooms. And then after that, we are going to be having a connection cafe. I went out and bought the snacks tonight, and we have 2 ice cream cakes. One's an Oreo ice cream cake, and the other is a cookie dough Carvel. So you guys are going to want to stay for after that, all right? And then we got a whole bunch of good fruit if you're trying to watch what you eat. You know, I love people like you, so keep it going. And now I would love to invite you into an opportunity where you have the opportunity to give back. You know, if you can give back financially, we are so grateful for what you do. If you don't have the ability to give back financially, we say we love you no matter what. We are so grateful for you creating a space where men and women, just like ourselves, can come in and find experience, strength, and hope. You can give online, you can give on the app, and you can give in person as you're exiting the sanctuary. And now, if you are able, I would like to invite you to please stand, and we are going to read the Serenity Prayer. And it says this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking as Jesus did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. Get recovery.